Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel, The Upper Hand. Today I want to teach you how to make your own wrist widget with a few pieces of material that you already have around your clinic. All we need is some strapping material, a piece of sticky back Velcro, tape measure, pair of scissors, Sharpie or pen or something like that. Pretty simple and easy, doesn't take long at all. A lot of people use wrist widgets. Many times we've been out of them in the clinic, or maybe insurance is not going to pay for one. The patient doesn't have the money to afford one. We can easily make one. It takes about 10 minutes tops. Alright, so let's talk about how to do this. So first you'll take your strapping material. This is about 12 inches in length. Take your tape measure, and we are first going to measure from one end, doesn't matter which, 1 1/4 inch. We'll take our Sharpie or pen, again 1 1/4 inch, and we're going to make ourselves a little line about right in the middle of the splint strap. We're going to measure again, and we're going to measure 4 1/4 inch from the end, and again we're going to put us a little line right in the middle of the strap. Now from your last mark you just made right here, we're going to measure another 1.5 inches and put one more mark, and that's all the marking we're going to do. Then we'll get to our cutting. Okay, so now we're going to start cutting. So first, if you're familiar with a wrist widget at all, you know it's got this little rectangular section right in the middle here. How to cut that without cutting your edges is just fold it in half. We're going to start a cut here and then do the same thing on the other side. And now we're going to go ahead and cut the rest of that out. The first two marks that we made are going to be the end of that rectangle. So I'll show you the final product, and you can see how quick it is as I'm doing it. So you do want to cut the rectangle out, but also leave you some strapping over here on the edge. You don't want to get that too thin on the edge, or it wouldn't give you enough stability. Okay, and we've got at the start of our wrist widgets. You can see that rectangle there. Next, you are going to go ahead and make your two little holes here that your straps that we make on this end will kind of feed through. To do that, usually I just kind of fold, and I basically do it midways from here to here. So, or excuse me, I usually just do that from midways from the end of your rectangle to the end of the strapping material. So I kind of just fold that in half, make a very small cut, okay, and then I usually go ahead and make a cut that's perpendicular to that, and we'll do that on both sides. Okay, so we made our two little slits up here. You'll see that better later in the video. I'll go ahead and round these corners, make it a little neater, a little more comfortable. Okay, so rounded edges. We've got our two slits here. We've got our rectangle. Now, the last mark, what are we doing here? So I want you to start on the other end here, and we're just going to cut right down the middle all the way up to our mark, and that's where we're going to stop. Now, again, if you're familiar with a wrist widget, you don't want anything this thick because you can't fit it through any kind of strap. So you have to really make these a lot smaller. So I'll go ahead and do that here. Okay, so after you cut those two strips on that side, you can see we have something that looks almost identical to a wrist widget. Is it perfect? Of course it is. Just kidding. Of course it's not. But it will definitely suffice if you're ever in a bind. Again, if you're out of them, or maybe even you just want to even test it out before you have the patient buy one or before you give one away. So the only thing we have left to do now is use our sticky back Velcro. I'll just take a small little piece, cut it in half, round our corner as best you can. All right, so we'll go ahead and feed these two smaller straps through our little holes up here, like that. And we'll go ahead and put it on my wrist just for demonstration. So again, we'll kind of pull that down tight. Now, again, if you're familiar with the wrist widget and you're using that in your clinic, you know this is typically used for on a wrist pain or some type of TFC injury. So biggest thing is make sure the edge of that rectangle is not on the ulnar styloid, but it's kind of encircling it right around it so that you can get some good pressure and support right in that ulnar wrist area. You can then fold these back to kind of see where your straps need to go. And then after you get a good idea about where that stops at, you can either put a mark or just remember. Then we can go ahead and put our straps in that area so that it can be held on. Now, it does help a little bit if you heat the Velcro up with a heat gun so that it'll stay adhered to that strap a little bit longer. It's not the best at staying on there, so you may have to replace these or send your patient home with a few replacements, but typically it'll stay for a few weeks at a time. So let's go ahead and put this on. A lot better at this two-handed than I am one-handed, but get the idea. So we're going to pull that good and snug. See, I've got some excess there. I am fine with just cutting that off, and definitely can't cut with my left hand. Let's see. You get the idea. All right, so let's go ahead and put our second strap on there. Okay, make sure it's good and snug. There's your wrist widget. Again, I would cut this little excess off just so it looks a little better and nothing's sticking up. Once you've got that cinched down, then there's your wrist widget. So homemade, takes 10 minutes tops to do. All right, so there you have it. So here's our homemade wrist widget. Your actual wrist widget looks very similar. Obviously, these are going to be more durable. That's why you're paying for these. That's why you're making these on your own to save a little bit of money. Also, if you haven't checked out our video, we also made a KT taping video about how to simulate or mimic the wrist widget with KT tape. That's another option you may want to use before going forward with actually making one of these to see if that may be helpful to your patient. So drop us some feedback in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know, especially if you have other ways of doing this, if maybe there's an easier way that we don't know about. We would love to learn about that. We are always eager to advance our knowledge and just learn different things. That's the great thing about hand therapy. There's not just one way to do things. There's many different ways to do it. So let us know that in the comments. We'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. We hope you learned something today and that this was helpful to you in some way.
So our goal for this channel, The Upper Hand, is to give you guys the upper hand as you seek to better understand conditions of the upper extremity and just all topics related to occupational therapy in general.
So please take a second out of your day, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can be sure that you're going to see all of our upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.